we can figure out how much time would really be required for you to see the results that you're looking to get. That's a great way to align expectations and effort with outcomes and results. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so thrilled you're here with us today. Today, we're talking about overcoming objections like a pro. I know oftentimes in this market that we're in as a direct seller, a social seller, network marketer, we often hear the word no. So in this episode, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about those objections, talking about how it's normal to hear no from time to time, but also how you can keep that conversation moving forward, how you can overcome objections, some key questions to ask. And so you're feeling confident navigating both sales conversations, but also conversations around the business opportunity. So let's just get to it. Again, super excited you're here. So first off, I just think it's important to mention and normalize the fact that objections are normal. It does not mean that you are failing. It does not mean that you're not good at what you do. It's not a personal kind of thing, right? It's really about the product that you're offering, and it just isn't totally sold on that person quite yet. So your job isn't really to convince everyone, right? You're not going to be for everyone. Your product is not going to be for everyone, but you are there to serve the right people at the right time in the right way. So when I think a little bit about objections, I could tell story after story about being told no. And I will say the first time that somebody says they don't like your product, or they're not interested in your business opportunity, or they don't want that, it kind of stings a little bit. Am I right? Right? It kind of goes straight to the heart where you're thinking, gosh, that feels like a personal attack, especially if you're an empathetic type of person that might be a little sensitive to things and feels all the feels, right? Sometimes when we're out there sharing what we do and somebody isn't interested, it can feel personal. So first off, it is not personal at all. It is not personal. People are really making decisions on if a product is the best fit for them, if a business is the right fit for them. They are not coming at you. So even though it might feel that way, it's important to be able to separate that out and realize, okay, this is about the business. This has nothing to do with anything else. I remember when I was first getting started in the direct selling world, we were coached to go host a party and go find some hosts that would host for you. And I remember asking my sister, not to call her out, but she was like, no, I'm not doing that. I am not hitting up my friends to go buy your thing. She was full on rejected. There was objection, not happening, not interested. And I remember in the moment thinking, ouch, we're family. I thought that you were going to be my person to help me launch this thing. And she wasn't. And you know what? I had someone else say yes, and somebody else that was excited about the product. And I was able to build a very, very successful business, even after having one of those moments that felt a little personal, even though looking back, I know it wasn't. It just wasn't the right fit. It wasn't the right thing for her to do in that moment, and that's totally okay. So when we're thinking about objections, I first just want to normalize that objections happen. If you are not getting rejected, or if you are not hearing objections in the conversations that you're having, then you're probably not asking enough. Right? You're not having enough conversations. You're not asking people if they want to make a purchase, if they want to learn more about the business opportunity, if they want to collab with you. It is very, very normal to hear the word no when you're in business. And I've got to tell you now that I've been doing this for a long time, that over time, it does get easier. It does. It gets easier because you know that even if that's a no, or not right now, or I'm not really interested, or that's not for me, or all the other objections we hear, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, right? We'll get into all of those. That it isn't about me personally. It isn't about you personally. It is really about the product and the business and the timing. And it is a-okay to have those feels, but also know that there's ways to navigate these conversations. Even though it might feel like a no right now, it might just be a not yet, or I need to learn more. So I'm going to share a little bit of a startling sales statistic with you. Only 2% of all sales happen on the first contact. Only 2%. 2 out of 100. That means 98 other people are going to need to have multiple conversations and have multiple touch points before they get to that yes. So we often hear that people need to see something 7 times, 10 times. I've heard upwards of 25 times in this world of information that we're living in before they're able to take action or make a purchase. So just know that you're doing your job by putting yourself out there and sharing your products and sharing your business. And it may take a couple conversations or a not yet or a not right now, but it is incredibly important to be doing that follow-up on the back end, because that's what's really going to get you to the yes over time. In fact, they say that 80% of sales require at least 5 or more follow-ups. So if you're only following up once or twice or 3 times, that might not be enough, right? We got to keep nurturing these relationships. And I'm not saying to be spammy or icky or gross or weird. It's really just staying in front of people, staying in contact, thinking about how you can serve them, reaching out, sharing value, and eventually some of those no's or not yets are going to turn into yeses. So let's talk a little bit about the types of objections that we hear. We hear things on the product side. We also hear things on the business opportunity side. So I'm going to talk through what that objection might sound like and then a response that you can share. Now, of course, I would highly recommend that you customize these based on your product, your business, your voice. But this is a great starting point for you. And it might even be a smart idea to create a little bit of a cheat sheet if you feel like you're kind of stumbling over your words or not quite sure how to navigate some of these conversations. A cheat sheet is a great place to start. Y'all know I'm a big fan of ChatGPT. So you can even take the conversation and drop it into ChatGPT and say, I don't know how to respond to this objection. Please help me. Now, again, you want to put it in your own voice. You want to make sure it's authentic, it's genuine. But if you need a little bit of help or if you need a little crutch to get to where you need to go to build that confidence, you can definitely try that. So let's talk about our first objection. All right, the first one we hear a lot is it's too expensive. And I have to say that in my direct selling career, I went from selling products that were probably averaging around $10 to $12 to selling more of a premium product, a premium brand that was averaging about $75. So my average order size went from about 40 upwards of $175. So I know a thing or two about expensive. And that word expensive, I mean, it's all relative, right? But definitely in that moment, I thought, oh my gosh, this feels expensive. My audience thinks this is expensive. How am I going to justify people investing in this product when it is at a higher price point? So a couple of things that I might suggest if you're getting that response that it's too expensive, it doesn't fit into the budget, I don't know if I can afford that, I don't know if that's worth it to me, right? You can say something back like, I totally get that. Want me to break down what's included and how long it will last for you? Most people are really surprised how far it goes. So this is a great one, especially if you're selling a consumable product, right? Like I think about those of you that have some spices or sauces. Sometimes we think, oh, like it's one and done with one meal. Oh no, that's gonna last you on your shelf for at least 6 months. I think about that in the skincare space, right? Sometimes we get a little itty bottle or something and we're thinking, oh, like that is gonna be gone before I blink. Okay, this is actually a 3-month supply. You're gonna be really impressed with that. Of course, emphasizing value, quality, benefits over cost is going to be really, really important as well. When I was selling clothing, we would often talk about the durability of the clothing, how long it's going to last, and how you'd be able to pass it on from one sibling to the next, to the next, to the next, because the quality was so fantastic. So really focus in on the quality, how long it's going to last, and help people recognize that. Now, the other thing that you can do if you're hearing the objection, it's too expensive, is you may have an offer for them, right? If you know that that's their hesitation, then maybe you want to keep them in mind if that item goes on sale because they are a price-sensitive shopper. You also might want to invite them to collaborate with you, right? That might look like hosting an online event. That might be a live video. It might be giving them a referral link. It might be giving them access to a VIP rewards type program. But anything you can do to help them rack up the savings is going to help them justify that expense as well. So I don't know about you guys, but if I bank up points on a brand and they're about to expire, you can bet that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to use up those points because I don't want to miss out on my savings. So you have shoppers like that are like, what's the deal? What's going on? Is there a sale? Is there a promotion? You got a coupon code for me? What do you have? So if you know that that's the objection, price is an issue. Okay, how do we make this work for you? And give them a couple of solutions. And it might be not something that they're going to say yes to today, but it might be something that after more conversation, they're willing to make an investment in. All right, so that's the first objection we hear a lot is it's too expensive. Now let's jump to the next one. All right, the next objection we hear from time to time is people saying, I'm not sure it's for me, right? Like, I don't know if that's my style. I don't know if that's really the product I need. So when you're hearing that objection, what I want you to think is, okay, they need more information. They don't have enough information yet. I have some education to do to help them understand that this is a product that would serve them well or be a solution to a problem that they're facing. So this is a great one to think about, okay, what resources do I have? How can I educate? How can I provide materials, documentation, videos, so someone can determine if it is the right fit for them. So a response back might be something like, let's figure that out together. What are you looking for right now? I might have the perfect thing for you. So put it back on them. Ask an open-ended question. Ask what they're looking for, because that's going to clue you in on how you can best serve them. Now, another objection that we hear occasionally is, oh, I think I already have something similar, or I already buy that at the drugstore, or I have something like that I get at Target, right? And I know as a direct seller, that one goes straight to the heart where you're like, oh, but don't you want to support me? I'm a small business owner, right? But oftentimes people are just used to their habits. They're used to what they do on the regular. And it's going to take a little bit of education, again, to help them see how your product is differentiated from what they had previously been using in that same area. So when you're thinking about product categories and unique value propositions, what is that makes your product superior? What do they need to know about your product to say yes to that and swap it out for something else that they were previously using? So a great response to someone that says, I already have something similar, is to offer them a sample. If you have samples available, or if there's a way for them to experience the product, you might say something like, I love that you're already using that. Why don't you try a sample of this and see how it compares? I think you'll be surprised. Nobody wants to say no to a free sample. Bring me all the free samples, right? So this is a great one, again, for you to provide a little bit more education. Oftentimes they're just stuck in the routine of doing what they do all the time, buying what they buy. So this is a great chance for you to say, hey, let me hook you up a little bit. Let me give you a little sample. You can check it out and see how it compares to what you're used to. All right, the next one that we hear a lot is, I just really don't know that much about it, right? So, hey, do you want to go ahead and grab this supplement? Hey, do you want to check out this serum? Hey, I'd love to give you more information on that meal kit. People might just say, like, I don't really know that much about that. Okay, this is your red flag that you have some education to do. If they don't know much about that product, then it's your opportunity to step in and be the expert. You are their go-to person for that brand. So step into those shoes and share with them a little bit more about the product so they can feel confident and also educated in order to make that decision moving forward. So that's an easy objection to overcome. They just need a little bit more information. You need a little bit more time to have them really understand what the product is and how it's actually going to help them out. A quick response to that might be something like, ooh, let me just give you the quick version. Here's 3 things that people are really loving about it. That's going to be a great way for you to offer up some information, give them the opportunity to check it out. I love the idea of giving them a resource. If you have a video, if you have a brochure, if you have something they can watch or read or listen to, then you can ask, hey, if I send you a little bit more, will you check it out? Perfect. I'm going to loop back with you next week once you've had a chance to take a peek, and you can let me know what you think of that. All right. Okay, so those are some common objections when it comes to product. You know your product best. There may be some other objections that you hear on the regular. If there's one that keeps coming up, lean in to your sideline, your upline, your corporate team and say, hey, I keep hearing this. How would you respond to that? And get that conversation going with others that are selling the same product as you so they can also share their wisdom, their expertise, how they're navigating those conversations. Now, we're going to shift gears a little bit here and talk about some common objections we hear when it comes to the business opportunity. Typically, this topic of overcoming objections often has to do with the business side of things. Many times people really see the value in the product. They love the product, but when you get into a conversation about the opportunity and joining and starting and picking out a kit or a collection or joining as an affiliate or saying yes to being an ambassador, this is really when things might feel like it's a bit more personal or you're hearing more objections on the regular. So I want to share with you some common objections that you're going to hear when you're having conversations about the business opportunity. Now, the first one, I think we can all resonate with, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time, right? How many of us are busy? Real busy. Oh my gosh, I got a kid in 5th grade. I got a kid in 7th grade. I'm doing 2 school drop-offs. I got a business and I'm running over here. I'm volunteering with our softball league and I'm now leading our Girl Scout troop. I got a lot going on. I have a full plate. I don't think that I have time for this. Sound familiar? So when somebody might share an objection like, I don't think I have time, a great way to reframe that is really around the flexibility of the business opportunity. This is not your traditional 9-to-5. You don't have to be sitting at a desk or checking in at a certain time. This is really a great way to create a business around the lifestyle that you love. So that might be a way to kind of reframe things. And one way that you might respond to that is by saying something like, most of us start with just small pockets of time. Do you want me to show you what that could look like for you? Okay, yeah, show me what that looks like. So that might be a great way to kind of frame it. Now, I do think it's really important on this objection in particular, just to be really mindful about over-promising results, right? We all know that this business takes work. It is easy to say, oh, you can just fit this in the nooks and crannies and you can work from your phone while you're at stoplights and while you're standing in line at the grocery store. But we also know that if people really want to make a career or some good money in this business, they are going to have to dedicate some time to it. So another way that you may reframe this conversation around, I don't think I have the time, is, do you think you have about an hour a week? Or like, what does your schedule look like right now? Would you want to carve out just, a Saturday morning once a month? Helping understand what time they do have available. We're all busy and it's all about priorities and where we shift things around. If it's important to them, they're going to make time. We also hear all the time, I hear it all the time, like, oh, you want something done? Give it to a busy person. Right? Busy people get things done. But the reality is helping them understand how much time it's going to take to get the results that they're looking for. So another great question to ask in this conversation is, what would make it worth it for you? What would make it worth it? Would it be a couple $100s a month, a couple $1,000s a month? Then we can figure out how much time would really be required for you to see the results that you're looking to get. That's a great way to align expectations and effort with outcomes and results, because it's easy to just say, oh, you can just fit it in here and there. Well, we all know we still need to be present. We still need to be paying attention. We still need to be intentional about having conversations. Do you have 20 minutes a day to focus on this business? Great. You can easily make a couple $100s a month if you carve out 20 minutes a day and you're intentional about what you're doing during that time. So this is your opportunity to ask some more questions, get some clarity on really, truly what they have time for. And if it's important to them, they're going to shift things around. All right. Next up, objection. Oh, this is a good one. I am not a salesperson. How many times have you heard that one? Oh, that sounds really fun, but I can never do what you do because I am not a salesperson. Okay, I hear you on that. And I think often when we hear that objection, the underlying message is really, I don't want to be pushy. I'm scared of it. I don't want to ask people for sales. It makes me nervous. So this is a great way for you to share your expertise in the industry. You may say something like, me neither. I'm not a salesperson. I've never been in sales until I've been, sharing these products that I love. I'd love to show you how I'm doing it so you could do it too. Really, really simple conversation there, right? I've never really thought of myself as a salesperson either. I just love sharing these products. I've been able to figure it out. I'd love to share with you too. So this is also an opportunity where you might talk about training, onboarding, the support that you have, how you share in a non-spammy, non-pushy way and still see some great results. All of that can come up in the conversations around I am not a salesperson, which is a pretty common objection that I think we really do hear on the regular. Okay, the next one that we hear occasionally when it comes to the business opportunity, depending upon the startup investment for your company, is the objection, I don't have the budget to get started. I can't purchase that collection, that starter kit. That's not in my budget. So a great response here is to kind of reframe it. We don't want people to feel like they're wasting money. And occasionally that's what they're thinking when they say, I don't have the money for it. I don't want to waste my money on that. I don't want products that are just sitting there. I don't want to not get started and be sitting on a bunch of inventory. So a great way to reframe that one is saying, I totally get that. Do you want me to walk you through how people are recouping their investment very fast? So then they can see, okay, I'm going to put $150 in for this kit. I am going to go do a launch event. At that launch event, I'm going to sell $400. At the launch event, that's going to give me 25% commission. I'm going to make $100 back right there. Okay, my next event that I do, I'm going to rinse, I'm going to repeat. Okay, now I'm in profit mode. Help people see what it's going to look like once they get started. I think people have a real fear for that if they don't really know what they're getting themselves into. How many times have you had a conversation with somebody new to your business and they're thinking, okay, this feels scary. This feels intimidating. I don't know what I just said yes to. What did I sign up for? So letting people know that they can be successful and you're going to be there to support them and show them how to do that and how to get that money back pretty quickly as well is a great way to kind of create a plan. It's going to allow you to jump into a conversation where you're getting into, okay, when you get started in this business, this is how things are going to unfold for you over the next week or two. So you're setting those expectations, you're getting really clear on the business, what they have in front of them, and so they're set up for success. And honestly, if they legitimately do not have the budget for it, if the money is not in the account, right, you want to make sure that they're set up for success. You don't want to put anyone out. You don't want anyone, going in debt over getting started. So maybe for them, they need to wait till that next payday to take that leap. Or oftentimes we hear people say they're waiting for that tax refund to spend. Or maybe there's an opportunity through your company for them to purchase the kit at a discounted price. So some companies will take like host rewards and credit it. Sometimes you can use a gift certificate and use that towards your kit purchase. You can get a little creative sometimes about those initial startup costs, or there may be a low cost digital option that is available where they don't have a ton of product on hand. They're just essentially paying that subscription fee to be part of the company and have access to the back office and ordering. And then they can place orders and get rewards and all of those things as their business continues to grow. So you can be creative with it, be smart about it. But typically when somebody says they don't have the budget to start, things might feel tight for them and they have a fear that that money is going to be wasted. So the last objection we hear sometimes on the business opportunity is, I just don't know if I'd be very good at this. And sometimes we hear this like, you're really good at this. I could tell you're a natural. I just don't have that in me. I just don't think I'd be very successful. I just don't know that many people, right? So we hear all of those objections, and really this is a confidence issue, right? Helping people see that they are capable of it, that they can do it, they can be successful, even if they live in a small town, even if they have a small circle of friends, even if they've never been in sales before, that they can be successful. So this is really your opportunity to coach them and say something like, nobody starts out as an expert in this business, but if you're coachable, if you're consistent, I think you're going to grow faster than you think. So that's a great way to help instill confidence in someone and encourage them, and also let them know that it is going to take some training, some consistency, some work to get there, but that confidence is going to come with time. So those are a handful of objections you may or may not have heard before, but really the key here is beyond the objection is thinking about how you can follow up with these conversations. So they're probably not going to say yes on the first time. Maybe it's going to take 7 to 10 touch points for them to say yes, but you have an opportunity to stay top of mind. So maybe you're letting them know about new products that drop. Maybe you're checking in with them personally, not just about the sale or the business. Maybe you're sending samples. Maybe you're sending them a quick treat in the mail, letting them know that you're thinking of them. Maybe it's sharing someone else's success story or a success story that you've recently had that you think would be relevant to them. So you have an opportunity to kind of keep nurturing and building this relationship. One great thing to do is to take notes on these conversations. So I love it when you can track things and know how many people say yes. Is your yes rate 2 out of 10? Is it 4 out of 10? Is it 8 out of 10? Because that's going to allow you to know what that looks like for you. Okay, I'm going to need to have 10 conversations to get 2 yeses. That's going to set your expectations and also give you a benchmark so you can improve those numbers over time. I would also write down what their objections are that you're hearing so you can continue to address those and remind them that these are all things that you can overcome together when the timing is right. Now, I also just want to leave you with this. We've all received pushy sales messages and they feel pretty icky. So I would highly recommend that you're consistent, you're checking in with people, but it's not always about business. And I would sprinkle in either some videos or voice memos so they can see your face and hear authentically. It's not just following back up. Are you interested in the business yet? Right? So when somebody gives you an objection, don't freeze and freak out or feel disappointed or be upset or take it personally. This is just an opportunity for you to get really curious. Ask yourself, what are they really saying here? What are they unsure of? How can I serve them better? What is their hesitation right here in this moment? So, my challenge to you, think about the objections you've heard in your business specific to your products, your company. Write those down on a piece of paper. Write them on one side of the paper and write on the other side of the paper what your objection comeback cheat sheet is. So how you're going to respond to those, and especially if you're doing a lot of texting, maybe put it on the notes app on your phone, save it as a photo, save it on your desktop if you're at your computer a lot. But the more comfortable that you get in navigating these conversations and being curious and following up and being consistent and not letting one no ruin your day, the stronger you're going to be in this industry. So I am cheering you on. each objection at a time, because we're normalizing it. Some people are going to say no. Some people are going to count themselves out. Some people, it's just going to be a not yet or not right now. And whatever that might be, the more you have conversation and build that relationship with them, the closer they're going to get to a yes in supporting your business. So with that said, I am cheering you on every step of the way. I look forward to being back here again with you next week. We got another great episode coming right up, and I will see you then. Get out there and make it a great day. Bye, everyone. This episode is sponsored by CinchShare. CinchShare is the #1 social media scheduler for direct sellers and loved by creators in any industry. It's truly your one-stop shop for all things social. Join hundreds of thousands of social sellers and entrepreneurs who turn to CinchShare for free social media training and resources. Get started today with your free 30-day trial at moderndirectseller.com/CinchShare.